Welcome back, everyone, to the English Vision Podcast. I am your host, John, and I am so glad you have decided to spend some time with us today. Whether you're walking to work, cooking dinner, or just relaxing at home, we are here to help you improve your English while we talk about life, personal growth, and everything in between. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Sarah. How are you doing today, Sarah?
I'm doing very well, John. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and ready to learn. I always enjoy our conversations.
I enjoy them too. Actually, something happened on my way to the studio today that made me think of a great topic for us. I was driving and the traffic was terrible. It was completely stopped. I saw the driver in the car next to me getting incredibly angry. He was hitting his steering wheel, shouting, and making himself completely miserable. And sitting right next to him was another driver just listening to music, sipping coffee, and looking completely relaxed. It really hit me how differently two people can handle the exact same stressful situation.
That is very true. I see that often too. The traffic did not change, but their feelings were completely different. It makes me wonder, why do some people lose control and others stay peaceful?
Exactly. And that brings us to our topic for today. Why being calm always wins in almost any situation in life. Keeping your peace of mind gives you a massive advantage. Today, we are going to talk about why that is, how it affects our brains, and how we can all practice being a little calmer.
I love this topic. I know from my own experience that when I am calm, everything is easier. But John, can I ask you a question first? When you say it gives you an advantage, what exactly do you mean?
That is a great question. An advantage is something that puts you in a better or more favorable position compared to others. So, when I say calmness gives you an advantage, I mean that it gives you more power, clearer thinking, and better control over the situation than someone who is angry or panicking.
I see that makes perfect sense. I notice this the most when I'm practicing my English sometimes. If I'm talking to a native speaker, I get nervous. My heart beats very fast and my mind goes completely blank. I forget words that I already know, but if I take a deep breath and tell myself to just relax, the words come back to me.
That is a brilliant example, Sarah, and it is entirely based on science. When we get stressed or nervous, our brain goes into what we call a fight or flight mode.
Fight or flight? I have heard those words, but I'm not sure I understand the phrase together. Does it mean to hit someone or run away?
You hit the nail on the head. That means you're exactly right. Thousands of years ago, if a human saw a dangerous animal, like a tiger, the brain had to make a quick choice: fight the tiger or run away, which is the flight part. To prepare your body for this, your brain shuts down the thinking parts of your mind and sends all its energy to your muscles.
Oh, wow. So when I get nervous speaking English, my brain thinks there is a tiger.
Exactly. Your brain cannot always tell the difference between a real physical danger, like a wild animal, and a modern social stress, like speaking in a second language or being stuck in traffic. When that panic response takes over, the logical problem-solving part of your brain simply turns off. That is why you forget your vocabulary. You cannot access your memory effectively when your brain is preparing your body to run away.
That explains so much. So when we stay calm, we keep that thinking part of our brain awake and working.
Precisely. Remaining calm keeps your logic intact. It prevents you from getting tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, like looking through a dark tube.
Yes, exactly like that. Imagine looking through a paper towel tube. You can only see the tiny circle right in front of you, and you lose sight of the big picture. When people panic, they get mental tunnel vision. They only see the immediate problem and miss all the possible solutions around them. A calm person, however, has a wide view. They can look at the whole situation, weigh their options, and make the smartest choice.
I understand if the angry man in the traffic had a wide view, he would realize that getting angry does not make the cars move faster. It only hurts his own health and ruins his day.
Perfectly said. Anger and panic are almost always a waste of energy. But knowing this is one thing, actually staying calm is another. It is not always easy. Do you have any tricks you use to keep your cool, Sarah?
Keep my cool. I like that phrase. It means to stay calm, right?
Yes, absolutely. To keep your cool means to maintain your composure and not get overly excited or angry.
Okay. To keep my cool, I try to focus on things I can control. For example, if I'm taking an English test, I cannot control the difficult questions. I cannot control the time limit, but I can control my breathing. I tell myself I will just read this one sentence slowly. I think taking things one small step at a time helps me not feel overwhelmed.
That is incredibly wise, Sarah. Focusing on what you can control is a fundamental part of staying calm. It is actually a philosophy called Stoicism, but you do not need to read ancient philosophy to practice it. You just have to recognize the boundaries of your power, like the traffic jam. You cannot move the cars, but you can control what you listen to on the radio, how you breathe, and what you think about while you wait.
Yes, and I think another helpful thing is something you mentioned earlier, taking a deep breath. It sounds too simple, but it really works for me. Why does breathing help so much?
It is biology again. When you intentionally take slow, deep breaths, you are sending a physical signal to your brain. You are basically telling your nervous system, we are safe. There is no tiger. It forces your heart rate to slow down and it lowers your blood pressure. It physically turns off that fight or flight alarm.
So my body can actually tell my brain to calm down just by breathing.
Yes, your mind and body are in constant communication. If your mind is stressed, your body reacts, but it works the other way too. If you force your body to act calm by relaxing your shoulders and breathing deeply, your mind will eventually follow. There is a great technique called the pause.
The pause, like pausing a video.
Exactly. When something stressful happens, someone says something rude to you, or you make a big mistake at work, our instinct is to react immediately. We want to snap back, or we start apologizing frantically. The pause is simply forcing yourself to wait 3 seconds before you do or say anything.
Just 3 seconds. That does not seem like a long time.
It does not. But in a stressful moment, 3 seconds feels like a lifetime. In those 3 seconds, you take one deep breath. That tiny gap of time is usually all your logical brain needs to catch up and stop you from doing something you will regret.
That is powerful. I can use that. If someone asks me a difficult question in English, I do not need to answer immediately. I can pause, take a breath, and then speak. It will make me look thoughtful, not panicked.
Exactly. And speaking of how you look to others, that leads to another amazing benefit of being calm. Calmness is contagious.
Contagious, like a cold or a virus, you can catch it from someone.
Yes, but in a good way. We often talk about how bad moods are contagious. If someone walks into a room very angry, everyone else starts to feel tense and nervous. But a calm presence works the same way. It is what we call a ripple effect.
A ripple effect. Is that like when you throw a stone into a quiet lake and the little waves spread out across the water?
That is a perfect description. That is exactly what a ripple effect is. When one action causes a series of other actions to happen. If you're in a stressful situation with other people, maybe a project at work is failing, and everyone is panicking, if you remain completely calm, your calmness will spread like ripples in a pond. People will look at you and unconsciously think, well, Sarah is not panicking, so maybe things are not so bad.
I have seen this happen when I was learning driving. My instructor was incredibly calm. Whenever I made a mistake, my heart would jump, but he would just speak in a soft, steady voice and tell me how to fix it. Because he did not panic, I stopped panicking. If he had shouted, I think I would have crashed the car.
That is a beautiful example. The calmest person in the room often has the most control. When you react with anger, you give your power away to the other person or to the situation. But when you stay calm, you keep your power. You become the anchor for everyone else.
An anchor. That is the heavy metal object that keeps a ship from floating away in a storm.
Right? Again, a calm person keeps the whole group grounded and safe. Even when things are chaotic, there's a lot of strength and quietness. Sometimes people confuse being calm with being weak or not caring. But it takes a huge amount of inner strength to stay peaceful when everything around you is going wrong.
I agree completely. It is easy to shout. It is hard to stay quiet and think. I want to practice this more, not just for my English, but for my daily life. It seems like a skill, just like learning a language.
It is absolutely a skill. No one is born perfectly calm all the time. It is a habit you build. You build it by using the pause technique we talked about, by focusing on what you can control, and by taking those deep breaths when you feel your heart racing.
This has been a very helpful conversation, John. I have learned a lot of new phrases today, too. Fight or flight, tunnel vision, keep my cool, the ripple effect, and being an anchor.
You summarized them perfectly, Sarah. You have a great memory. And to our listeners, we hope this conversation helps you the next time you face a stressful moment. Try to remember the pause. Take that breath. Protect your peace. Because at the end of the day, being calm always wins.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Remember to take a deep breath today.
Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and keep your cool. Take care, everyone.